Okay. Oh.
Good morning, Carrie. Where are we now at the zoo?
Over each.
Oh, that sound's cutting in and out just a little bit, but it looks like we are over taking a look at the EMS, and we've got a lot of friends who are excited about this. Who do you have with you today?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we're good. Oh, nope, we're kind of cutting in and out again. Carrie, we might just went ahead and just have you stand close and unplug those mics, and let's try it from the device itself. And friends, while you're waiting for the audio to play nicely, go ahead and put in the chat where you're from, and we can give you a shout out.
Try again.
Hi there.
There we go. We're good.
All right. I don't know if you guys heard me, so I'm just going to restart. Hi there. My name is Kaylee, and this is my partner, Scott. We're with Sedgwick County EMS. And as you guys can see, we have a closet here full of all of our equipment that we use every day. And we're going to show you how some of the equipment works as well. If you guys have questions, we're going to save them till the end. If you guys have ever seen an office space, like, a building where they have like computers and stuff inside, this big truck here is our office space. So we use that to help patients take them to the hospital and work on them and give them medication to make them feel better. I know this mic works, so we're going to test it.
One of the main things that we use is actually this monitor here. If you've ever seen on those like fancy TV shows that goes beep, 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 this is our monitor here. As you can see, there's a little bit of this waveform here. That's actually what's hooked up to my partner over here. This is what is called a heart rate. So over here, it's saying 87. So that means her heart's beating 80. Well, kind of jumping around. Now it's 82 times a minute. And all these little squiggles means a lot to us, but right now we're just going to call them a heart rate. And as they change, as she moves around, the heart is a big muscle. So if she moves, it has more electricity going throughout her body. You can see it there. Now she's going to put on what we call an SpO2. This shows all the oxygen that's in her body and shows us if we need to give her more oxygen.
So what should it be at?
Well, we shoot for is over 94%, anywhere from 94 up to 100%. Most people right here run right around 98%. If she takes a couple really deep breaths, you'll see it goes up. I think the best we're going to get out of her is 95%.
Apparently.
Now, if someone is having trouble breathing, this is what we call a BVM. This is what makes people breathe a little bit better. So if this was down in a really low number, right here, it's a big bag that we squeeze. And right here is a mask that goes on our patients. It goes on our patients like this. And all these fancy devices that stick off of it allow us to adjust the pressure. So when you take a really deep breath, you go, and your muscles expand. If you're having a hard time breathing, we use this to squeeze, and that'll make the air go into your mouth and opens up your lungs nice and big to give you a lot of oxygen. And this little tail that's flinging around everywhere gets attached to this thing right here, and this is our oxygen tank. This is pure oxygen. The air that we breathe only has like 21% oxygen, so that's a lot more oxygen that we have here. Now over here, what my partner's showing us is a big group of medications that we can give when people feel really bad. All these different colors, all these different color tops here are different medications that we use. A lot of these work on the heart. Some of them make the heart beat faster, like epinephrine. Some people will know that as an EpiPen. Ours is just a little bit different. Some will make them beat a little bit slower, or even will stop them for a very short time. And out of these will make people, if they don't breathe very well, breathe a little bit better. We have even more inside of our ambulance. do a little tour of our ambulance. And I'll have to turn down our radio. But just like the fire department, we have a really fancy radio system that we pulled from here. So we're going to start over here on this side. When we talk about people breathing, there's a lot of different things that can go wrong when they're breathing. So that's why we have to have a lot of different tools to help them breathe better. Every single one of these slots is a different thing that we use to help people breathe a lot better. Our favorite to use over here, it looks kind of weird, but this is what we insert into people's mouths. And that way, if their tongue is big, or if they're just really unconscious, or if they did a bad thing and they did drugs, we have to use this on them. It's not a very fun thing, but when we need to use it, it helps out a lot. Throughout the rest of our ambulance, we have things hanging from the top. This is where we hang different fluids. That oxygen, we have ports even in our ambulance that helps us give more oxygen to other people. And the little bag of medications we had, well, here's even more of them. There's a lot more in there. All these up here, different bags that have different things in them, different ways of giving medications. And they're all in different looking devices that we can pull out and give people. And right here in the middle, this is where that bed goes. And this is secures the patient to the floor of the ambulance. So it is the safest spot in the entire ambulance. So a lot of people are afraid to go in the ambulance at first, but this is actually the safest spot in the entire ambulance. That's why we encourage people like, hey, it's all right. Once you get into the ambulance, it feels a little weird because you're looking backwards, but it's all right. And over here, these are just kind of like our different odds and ends for things that don't happen very often. If we need to deliver a kid, we have what we call OB kits. So this is what we use to help deliver children. And if someone's really hurt, we have these big trauma sheets. This is like a little Band-Aid, but will cover almost your entire body if we unfold it. So it's a really, really big Band-Aid. And I guess we can go around the outside now. How are we doing on time?
We're doing on time. About 7 minutes.
7 minutes? Wonderful. We can go back out that way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're not jumping. Yeah.
We now are on one side of our more cabinets all on the outside. Bunch of stuff inside as well.
So we have these big old cabinets, and this is where those big red bags usually go. We have more oxygen tanks, and just like the fire department, we have ways of putting out fires. We have a fire extinguisher, blankets, because it's getting that time of year that everyone's starting to get really cold. So we gotta have a lot of blankets. And down here, the fancy device looks really weird, but that's actually what holds our monitor. There's a lot of different spots back there we can mount it on, but it goes in here because it's kind of really heavy and we don't like carrying it. Over here, spine boards and different ways of immobilizing patients. So if you're in a really bad car accident, a lot of your body can be hurt. And that's why we tell people it's very important to wear a seatbelt. Your seatbelt will save your life and make it so you don't have as many injuries. But if you still get injured, these are very fancy beds that we can use to pick people up and put them on our other bed if they're hurt in multiple spots of their body. So if your back's hurt, your legs are hurt, and you can't get up and walk around, we use these to carry you. That's why we have big, strong firefighters that show up with us. Here on the back of the ambulance, this really funny looking thing that looks like a saber-toothed tiger. This is actually a device that will pick up that bed, and it picks it up and pulls it into the ambulance. So I don't even have to pick up patients anymore. Very fancy device that takes and can hold up to 700 pounds. It's like a baby elephant, so it can hold quite a bit. Over here at the bushes, so we can't really show too much on that side. Any questions?
Sure. Let's see here. So I actually have a question for you. What made you to get into this line of work?
So I actually want to be a pediatric surgeon. So it's for kids like you guys under 18. They do surgery on it to fix if they have anything internally going on. But I wanted to start out in the medical field and just kind of get my foot out there. So what better way to do it is to do EMS. And yeah, that was my reasoning.
My reasoning is when I was very, very young, I got very, very sick, and my parents actually had to call the ambulance to the school. So while I was in school, I had to go into an ambulance. I was very scared, but it ended up being a very fun time. And I was actually in 5th grade, so a little bit older than you guys. And after that, I was like, wow, those ambulances were really cool. And after that, once I graduated high school, I went and started working on a fire truck, and then eventually found my way back to an ambulance. So they're not very scary. You know, if you end up being on an ambulance at some time, hey, you might want to come work for us.
Yeah, and our shifts usually run. Every shift that we do is one day we do 12-hour shifts at a time. And we have about 17 trucks that we have all together that run. And most of them get pretty fun calls and stuff. But yeah, we all stay pretty busy. And it's more of like a family too. And you can start as early as 18 years old to get your EMT. And it's about 16 weeks long for the class. Can you believe that? It's kind of a short class, but it's a lot of information all in one.
It's for people that don't really like the idea of going to like a 4-year college. This is a very attractive because as soon as you get out of school, because school is very important. We had to go to school. It's just a shorter time though, so it was a lot of fun for us. But we have a lot of ambulances around, so no matter when you call 911, there's always gonna be someone there.
All right, Scott and Kaylee, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for giving us a tour of the EMS, the ambulance. So now all you guys can go back and let your parents know that you have seen the inside of an ambulance. You know what's even on the outside of the ambulance. So how cool is that? All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you at the next one.